When you watch Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard score goals, they are both very dangerous, ruthless, and both capable of breaking open a game in any single moment. But when you actually study their footage, really study it like I have, you start to see that their offense comes from very different mental frameworks. And once you start to understand these differences, you'll start to realize that most AAA and junior players are thinking about the game in a way that prevents them from ever accessing this level of decision making. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the mental systems behind both players and how they create space, how they manipulate defenders, how they differ in pace and deception, and more importantly, how you can start taking the best of both styles and immediately apply it to your own game. Let's start with Bedard because his game is the easiest to misunderstand if you only see the highlights. Bedard is a ruthless micro-battle creator. His entire identity and skill set is built around generating a shot every single time he touches the puck. Most players will hesitate when they have it. They look for a perfect read, mentally plan it out, then try to execute it physically. Bedard doesn't really do that. He uses stick handling and deception to get right into the defender's hands, and then he plays a high-speed version of keep away where he almost completely makes the defender uncomfortable. It isn't really like chaos for him. He's really just responding to a chasing defender poke check, and that's why it's much easier for him to avoid the defender's stick. It's like playing a keep away from a little kid. Bedard sees the defender reacting and can stay one step ahead because they are both in Bedard's game. They're playing to his standards. And because he is so confident in tight quarters, his mind is free to make quick attacking reads. When the defender reacts one way, he snaps it around the other way and goes in that direction. When a goalie leans, he snaps it the opposite side, but most importantly, he's creating those weaknesses. He creates the defender lunging at him. He instantly turns into the shooting lane and takes the shot. Bedard doesn't wait to see the chances. He creates and molds them actively all the time. Celebrini is also ruthless, but in a slightly different way. He still attacks defenders directly, still gets in tight, and still wants to create his shot, but he layers his creation through teammates just a bit more than Bedard does. Celebrini will draw coverage in, pass it, then immediately reappear in a better scoring lane. His give-and-go threat is constant. He doesn't rely on his teammates just to bail him out with a kind of a bailout check-down pass. He uses them as a part of a multi-step sequence to improve the situation and construct something better for himself and for his teammates. A defender will think the danger is gone right after the pass, but Celebrini will pop right back open into a better scoring position, and that's how he gets lost. That's how he generates a lot of his shots. It's not that Celebrini is more of a pass-first player. He's a shot creator just like Bedard. He just uses one extra step of manipulation before he gets the puck where he wants it. Bedard tends to create alone and finish alone. Sometimes that's a pass to a teammate who shoots it right away. Celebrini tends to create the pass, get the puck back, then take the shot before the defenders can actually respond. The difference reflects something deeper about how they think. Most players operate with a recognition, decision, execution mindset. They wait for the picture to form, then they try to make the right play. Bedard and Celebrini do the opposite. They influence first. They create the micro moments from the defenders where the defender is the one reacting. They don't commit to a plan. They commit to influencing the defender's next step, and then they see what happens after. The best way I can explain this is ordinary players look at the situation. Bedard and Celebrini will mold and create the situations that they want. They survive moment by moment, influencing the defender over and over until the opening appears naturally and they can access it more instinctually than a set plan. It's closer to a flow state than a structured decision tree that's precise. And this is something you can absolutely train with the right drills, constraints, and emphasis points. Another big difference between the two is how they use deception. Bedard is a master of micro-deception. Stick blade angles, puck placement, the tiny shoulder pull, or a slight head fake. Every motion is designed to mislead that defender about where the puck is going to go next. And this lets him operate in tight windows without ever really being in danger because he's controlling that opponent that's near him. Celebrini, on the other hand, uses macro deception, pace changes, posture shifts, body angle manipulation, contact initiation. He doesn't just fake with his hands, he fakes with his entire presence, his body, and everything about him. One of his best tricks is slowing down at the exact moment the defender expects that speed against him, forcing them into no man's land where he creates a gap. Then Celebrini reaccelerates at the perfect moment. It's a different toolkit, but the intention is the same. Break the defender's rhythm before the defender can angle you and shut you down. Now let's talk about how each of them handles pressure. Both players actively hunt for one-on-ones. They aren't avoiding defenders. They're not trying to run away. They're actually trying to seek them out. But the way they win battles is different. Bedard gets close to defenders but never commits to a long, grinding battle. His hands and his speed let him neutralize pressure instantly. It's like he's in a phone booth game of tag where he always knows the escape route because he's telling that defender where to put his stick. Celebrini gets close too, but he embraces the small bumps, the physicality, the stick lifts, and leverages those battles and uses them to his own advantage. He uses contact as a tool to break the defender's angle and mess up his angling. Bedard avoids the contact to stay unpredictable and avoid under tight battles. Celebrini uses that contact to actually create space. Choosing which style fits your identity and your skill set is a huge part of unlocking your offensive potential. One of the clearest differences shows up in their routes away from the puck. Celebrini takes unique, unpredictable routes into the traffic, little curls and pace changes, diagonal cuts that force defenders to turn their feet and allows him to get open. He naturally creates separation within the chaos. Bedard also creates separation in a similar way, but he often starts from outside or slightly behind the play. He builds speed into the attack, creating mismatched pockets where he is suddenly going at full speed against a defender who is standing still and not expecting that speed. Celebrini builds separation by manipulating the density of defenders around him. Bedard pulls the separation by manipulating speed differentials. Both are effective, but knowing which naturally leans towards your style will tell you what strategies you should naturally train towards. Their shooting philosophy captures their mindset perfectly. Bedard is a perimeter sniper, not perimeter as in far out, but perimeter as in he aims around the edges of the goalie and tries to go more post and in or bar down. Short side high, far side off movement, pulling the goalie against the grain before he rips it the other side. Everything for Bedard is more about power and timing and really beating the goalie to a spot, along with a lot of deception. Celebrini, meanwhile, shoots it low and hard near the crease far more often than Bedard does. He likes to create chaos. He uses the overall situation to score. He uses moving screens. He uses the context to create a weakness for the goalie. He doesn't always try to just, blast it past the goalie. The shot itself is a tool to break the defensive structure apart and take advantage of that defensive structure. Celebrini still picks corners and has a great shot, but his overall pattern and strategy includes more purposeful low releases within a chaotic environment for the goalie. And then there is tempo. Celebrini's game is built on pace changes, slow to fast, glide, cut, and then burst and explode into the open space. He uses rhythm and unpredictability in his speed. Bedard is more relentlessly fast. His threat level is high tempo almost all the time. He doesn't seem to make it easier to read for the defender. It just means his unpredictability comes from his hands and deception rather than from changes of pace. Celebrini feels more like a rhythm player getting the defenders off their beat. Bedard feels more like a forceful, aggressive, in-your-face type of one-on-one player. Bedard tends to initiate through a micro-offensive battle, beating the stick, controlling that defender, aiming it through the coverage, and getting it on net. Celebrini initiates his offense through kind of more multi-phase sequences, maybe a draw, a pass, a give and go. He uses a lot of pace changes to create offensive chances. Bedard's offense starts and ends with him. Usually Bedard will create a really good play, score or shoot it, Other situations, Bedard makes a good move, draws coverage, and passes it, and that teammate has the best possible chance to score, and he shoots it right away. So Bedard is kind of the driver and sets his teammates up or sets himself up. Celebrini creates situations and kind of works within the framework of his line mates and his teammates. Neither approach is inherently better, but your natural instincts and your natural tendencies will dictate which one is easier for you to build your game around. So, what should you take away from all this? The biggest gap in your development isn't your hands, your shot, your skating. It's that you don't actually know which version of offense you're supposed to be building. You don't know when to be a change of pace guy like Celebrini versus when to be a ruthless and relentless shot creator like Bedard. If you're naturally more like Bedard, attacking fast, driving at and through defenders, but you keep trying to play a structured pace control game, you're going to feel inconsistent forever. And if your game naturally leans towards Celebrini's style, pace changes, leveraging physicality, multi-step creation, but you're trying to force Bedard's instant shot approach, you'll keep getting shut down in tight games. Most players are stuck using the wrong strategies at the wrong time, which means you're training the wrong habits and reinforcing the wrong instincts. If you want help figuring out when and where to be a change of pace guy like Celebrini and when to be a ruthless shot creator like Bedard, and whether you are a legitimate fit for my hockey IQ and mental program, apply using the link below. This completely free application call, we will ask you questions to see if your goals, mindset, and current situation align with players I help. If you qualify, the second call is a deep dive meeting with you and your parents where I build out the exact plan for your next step. Only book the call if you're a serious hockey player and you're serious about improving and willing to be coached to a higher level. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.